Today is Friday. Mike Lane will be on duty tonight. Mario won't. But Mario will be on duty tomorrow during the day.
Okay, so Mario...
Mike Lane will be on at 6 o'clock tonight, too. Is there somebody else that can help you?
Well, how do I get a police report?
Oh, that was me. So,
can you... Is it
that you need to report?
No, I'm just wondering if you could pull up one of my police reports from a situation I had with those two officers back in 2009, and I just don't remember how they arrested me. I don't remember breaking any law, and I was pretty tired at the time, so I don't know how they got away with it. I'm trying to figure out how they arrested me.
Okay, did you never go to court or?
No, but they took me to a psych ward. I was trying to report a crime to them. I was trying to report a case of child abuse that still hasn't been reported because they didn't listen to me.
Okay.
I was trying to report child abuse.
Look for the report. What's your last name?
Spinner.
I'm sorry, what?
Spinner.
Spinner?
Yeah.
So you're looking for an 09 case?
Yes. It was, I think in March. Could have been March 4th, but it was an 09. It was the last incident I think I've had with the cops. If there's more than one on there. There's two incidents right next to each other within like a couple weeks of each other in the beginning of 09. Because I tried to report the child abuse, and they said they just completely ignored me because I was so upset about the child abuse going on. They just figured that I was like something wrong with me, I guess, because I guess you're not supposed to be upset about child abuse. And so they took me to a mental hospital, and then because I was upset there too, they say that if you're upset that's a mental illness. And so I got diagnosed as bipolar schizoaffective because I tried to report a case of child abuse. And then when I got out of there, I was very upset, so I tried to, and then I was completely drugged out, so I tried to call the cops back to report the original crime and to report what was going on at the hospital because it was illegal because you can't drug somebody unless they're a danger to themselves or others. And so...
Okay, Nick, hold on just a second. So I see you were saying in March of 09?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so are you looking for the earlier one? Or
both. I just want to see what their reason was for. I want since I know that I didn't break the law. I know I wasn't going to threat to anybody. They actually broke the law by arresting me. So I'm just trying to figure out what their excuse was, so that when I take them to court, that I can understand why, so I can understand their reasoning, so I can pull it apart easier.
So they didn't arrest you. They took you into.
No, they detained me against my will. They put handcuffs on me.
Yeah, they felt that you were a danger to yourself or others and took you to Marin General Hospital.
But since I wasn't, and they had no evidence for that.
They're qualified to assess.
Okay, but what did they base their assessment on?
Your statements, your actions, your behavior.
So you're not supposed to get angry when you call up to report child abuse.
Well, there must have been more that they saw.
No, actually, I'm not. You're just defending your own people. You're just
okay,
giving them the benefit of the doubt.
I shouldn't have this conversation anymore then. So, what would you like today? Did you need to speak to an officer? Did you just want the?
Well, yeah, I would like to speak to somebody who's more willing to talk about how do I know exactly that I want to know. I want their evidence. They have to provide me with some reason. I can't just. How about I say that you have a mental illness, and I say that I think you're a danger to yourself. I'm going to take you to a mental hospital. How would you feel?
Have you been trained to do that though?
They haven't been trained.
The officers have.
They didn't know. They haven't. They didn't even know what the drugs were. I said, no, please don't take me there. They're going to put me on psychotropic drugs and give me a chemical lobotomy, and they didn't even know what I was talking about. They thought I was speaking gibberish.
Not doctors, but they are trained and able to evaluate citizens or people. And
okay, so could you explain to me what
that they're presenting?
So could you explain to me what their training says about people who report child abuse? That says if somebody's reporting child abuse and they're upset, that means that they're a threat to somebody. What are you talking about?
No, those are different things.
Okay, so tell me what their training says.
Hold on. Okay.
Yes.
Very nice here.
Hi. I'm just trying to understand how you determine. I tried to report a crime back in 09.
Who's this?
This is Nick.
Nick.
Yes.
Okay. You tried to report a crime in 2009?
Yeah, but that's not what I'm calling. The reason I'm calling is because when I tried to report the crime, I was upset about the nature of the crime. As you can imagine, some crimes can be very traumatic.
Sure.
And so when I tried to report the crime, I called the police. They came over. I was kind of upset. I was saying I might have been saying what I said with emotion in my voice, and so they said that I was a threat to myself or others. So they put me in a mental hospital. And never took a police report on the crime that wouldn't happen. But that's not what I'm calling. I want to find out what their training said about people. I'm trying to figure out how they were able to say that somebody, just because they're upset, was mentally ill, get me diagnosed as a mental illness, so that you can take away my Second Amendment rights, all that stuff. I want to see your justification, what your training says about how you were able to ruin my life over trying to help you guys stop crime.
Okay, you're calling over something that happened 2 years ago?
Well, yes. You see, they put me in a mental hospital, and then the mental hospital held me for a month and drugged me repeatedly, and they gave me a chemical lobotomy, so I wasn't really able to consciously think for the last couple of years.
Okay, so don't you think that, I mean, do you not trust that the hospital was doing the right thing?
Well, actually, I know they were doing the wrong thing. By law, they broke the law. They broke the law inside there, like a law, repeatedly. That you took me to basically a child abuse center. I tried to report a case of child abuse, and you took me to a child abuse center. So I'm just trying to figure out how you were able to get away with that.
I don't exactly know what you're asking.
What justification did they have to say I was to take me to a mental hospital, handcuff me, and then say at the same time, oh, we didn't even arrest you, but we ruined your life. We took you to a mental hospital. We put you on drugs. But how did they get? Where's the law that says they're allowed to ruin people's lives that way?
I wasn't there that night. I don't know exactly what the circumstances were 2 years ago.
Okay,
we have a certain criteria we use to evaluate people to determine whether or not they're a danger to themselves, a danger to others.
Well,
they're gravely disabled.
That's what I'd like to know about, because I was trying to help somebody else, and I ended up getting myself messed up, but just for trying to help somebody else. So.
Okay, well, generally speaking, that's the answer to your question.
But what's the criteria is what the question is.
We determine whether or not you're a danger to yourself or a danger to others.
Well, yeah, I guess
for your own safety.
So since the crime I was reporting had to do with San Francisco Police Department, are you saying that the people I was the people that I was a threat to was the other police officer by reporting their crime, so they had to take me to the mental hospital to keep me from exposing a child abuse operation?
2 years ago, so I can't tell you the specific answer to that question.
Well, you can take a look at the report.
You can across the state of California is just what I've told you.
That they get to determine it based on their own internal reasons that they get to decide. They don't have any actual set list of things.
They're not secret reasons, Nick. They're things that you've said, things that you've done, actions that you've made.
On that day, that during that night, or they get to base it on my entire history?
Well, certainly on that day.
Okay,
it doesn't have anything to do with your history unless you've shown a pattern of that type of behavior.
Oh, so if somebody has a past where they've done something wrong, and then they try and turn around, be a good person, help you guys out, then they get to judge that event on everything else you've done. Like, so I can go to jail, I can do my time, I get out of jail, I'm totally innocent now or whatever, I've erased my record, whatever, I've done my time, and then you get to still judge me on that stuff just because I try and help you report a crime. I don't understand. It feels.
I'm not going to discuss the case that happened with you 2 years ago because I was not involved in it and I don't have any information on that. If you're asking me a general question, our criteria for taking you for an evaluation is very straightforward.
So I should just wait till I can talk to Mario and Michael Lane?
Yeah, if you want to talk to somebody about what happened that night, you need to talk to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, my life has basically been ruined because of this. Like, so I don't know what to do. I'm going to sue the hospital. I'm going to sue you guys if you can't come up with a reason. And by the way, the people working at the hospital, I saw other kids being abused there because it's a child abuse center. All these mental hospitals are, because think about it.
I'd say that's highly unlikely.
Based on what?
And if they kept you for a month or so against your wishes, then obviously there was some reason that they did that.
Well, I'd like you to explain that too now. What are you basing that on?
Because that's what they do. That's what the hospital is there for.
No. You misunderstand. What do you know how? What's the biggest profession with child abusers in it? Child Protective Services. Smart pedophiles join those groups that you can drug children with. They drug the children, and then if they mess with the children in those places, and then if the children try and talk about it, then they drug them more. That's where child abusers go. That's where the real child abusers are.
With them. What can I help you with here?
No, I have a complaint with both of you.
Okay. So what can I help you with here and now?
I was just trying to understand the criteria.
That's the general criteria, and if you've made statements or actions that would demonstrate to an officer that you're going to hurt somebody, or that you're going to hurt yourself or harm yourself in some way, or that if you're laying in the middle of the street naked, freezing cold, you're not caring for yourself. Those are some examples of some reasons that we would need to take you to a professional to be seen. And
okay.
it's a very straightforward straightforward criteria. You know,
well, just so you know,
you've demonstrated your desire or interest in harming yourself or harming somebody else, you're going to be taken to the mental hospital for an evaluation, and that's all we do is for an evaluation.
yes.
Not committing you. If you're held there, that's because you failed their test. All right? They determine,
you don't
hey, there
understand.
really is something wrong with this guy, so we're going to keep him here.
But you don't understand how their evaluations work. They go down a checklist. If you're sitting with your
It's
arms
it's
crossed.
no concern of mine how they do their evaluation.
Well, it should be a concern because your children are going to be part of that system. They want to put every child on these drugs, not just me.
Okay, then work that out with them. Our criteria for taking somebody there in handcuffs or in straps or bracelets or in a helmet and hockey gear is for your safety, and we take people there for that all the time. If they choose to release you after that because you don't meet their criteria, that's completely up to them. We take away your freedom for your safety and take you to some place to have yourself evaluated mentally.
You take away our freedom for our safety?
Yes.
So did you know that there's a famous Benjamin Franklin quote. He said that people who give up liberty for so-called security lose both and deserve neither.
I'm not going to discuss Ben Franklin with you, okay, Nick?
Well, you're just Satanist, just like Ben Franklin when you talk about a bunch of un-American crap
we
like
put people in handcuffs in secure situations to make sure that they're safe, and that's the only reason we do it. If they held you there for an extended period of time, they determined that there was something wrong, okay?
So you're saying it's impossible for a bad person to get involved in psychiatry. You're saying there's no way that people in
Did I say
psychiatry...
that in any way?
You said
No, I
that they
did
made
not.
you're just giving them the benefit of the doubt that their determinations are correct. All I'm saying is you should be more careful when you put kids in hospitals, because the people who work in those hospitals are not all good people, and they do get those jobs so they can hurt kids, and they're
I'll
using
take
you.
that into consideration.
Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.